Well, turning now to the escalating battle over redistricting in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott is asking the Texas Supreme Court to remove House Democratic Caucus leader, State Representative Jean Wu, from office.
Governor Abbott filed an emergency petition with the court yesterday, arguing Wu leaving the state, along with at least 50 other House Dems, means he's abandoned his office. Now, KVUE senior reporter Tony Blahetsky joins us now. And Tony, you're diving into this lawsuit. You're going to break it all down for us. But what I want to know is, of course, this is unprecedented, of course.
I mean, so much of this is unprecedented.
Correct.
I mean, certainly the Dems have left the state. That is not entirely unprecedented. But now we're seeing this new legal maneuvering to potentially try to get them back, and if not to get them back, potentially remove them from office. And that is the underpinning of this suit that the governor filed directly with the state Supreme Court late yesterday. So I've spent the day talking to experts about the viability of that suit. And essentially what they are saying is probably not, that leaving the state to break a quorum is not tantamount to leaving your seat permanently or abandoning your seat, as the governor claims in his suit. And so they say that when this gets to the Supreme Court, it's iffy what the court may actually do, because as we also know, it is a Republican Supreme Court. And not only that, many of the current members of the state Supreme Court were actually appointed by the governor. They're elected positions, but many of them were appointed by the governor prior to then running the office and getting a term on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, should note that if those seats are vacated, that means the governor gets to appoint people to take those seats until an election is called. And that is all based, Tony, on this opinion, right, from the Attorney General. And that sort of brings up our next point because we're seeing some pushback, if you will, between the Attorney General and the governor about who can actually go to the court and start this process.
Right. So what happened is that the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, was essentially saying, I plan to do this. I plan to try to file documents with courts across the state of Texas to try to get the Democrats who left the state kicked out of office. And what he said the proper way to do that is to take those petitions to district courts across the state. So the Attorney General says he's working on that. He's in that process. He gave them a deadline by the end of the week to return themselves to Texas, or he would move forward with that suit. Then we saw the governor basically kind of jump out there before the Attorney General and bring his suit. Of course, experts and political experts who are following this very closely say so much of this now is being driven by politics, not necessarily the law, and that really this is all politically, of course, motivated. And it will be up to the courts to determine whether or not there is a basis in the law.
Can I ask you, do they make anything of the language in the AG's letter to the court that says, don't dismiss this until I file what I need to file on Friday? Am I reading too much am I too in the weeds with that, Tony?
I've not heard anyone really raise that line by the AG saying, wait, you know, this is really an important dimension of this conversation. But again, so much of this is uncharted territory, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out over the next several weeks, possibly months, whether or not the legal pursuits can really gain momentum before those Democrats come back to Texas. Of course, as we know, they have said steadfastly that they are going to remain out of state until at least August 19th. But when you think about firing up a long legal battle, that is, of course, something that could take weeks, months, potentially even longer. But it is important to note that in his petition to the Supreme Court, the governor basically calls this an emergency.
So, and this is just a big if. If the governor gets his way, potentially, how long could it take to remove Wu?
Well, number one, experts will tell you that that is a big if. It's not out of the question, but I don't think anyone is saying that it is a likelihood or that is 100% going to happen. If it happens, it could happen, next week, the following week. But again, the Supreme Court would really have to go along with the governor's legal reasoning and legal rationale in terms of doing this. And no expert I have talked to really, really believes that is a likelihood.
Uncharted waters.
But it
said
plays well.
best.
But it plays well.
And we're talking about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it plays well
there
to
you go.
a lot of the governor's voters.
Yep. All right. Tony, well, no, you continue to watch this for us. Thank you.
Thank you.